Hello friends, I hope you are doing well. Happy Holi first of all. Now we are back with few of the topics today. So first topic is regarding World TB Day and control on tuberculosis. Second is Pakistan's trade desire with India. Third is regarding challenges in front of the World Trade Organizations. What is the market capitalization of stocks is our fourth topic, and little about governor Kerala government tussle is the fifth one. So when we talk about the tuberculosis, so tuberculosis, as you know, March 24 is the day when it is marked annually as a World Tuberculosis Day. So TB Day is marked annually on 24th of March. It is the anniversary of the discovery of causative mycobacterium by Dr. Robert Koch. So this is the story about it. The day aims to raise awareness about the devastating health, social and economic consequences of the disease. It is one of the leading causes of death from an infectious agent. So the theme of this year was that yes, we can end TB. Conveys the message that there is hope and a possibility that this particular crisis can be also cured. We need to focus on prevention and early diagnosis so that we can always achieve this particular goal of eliminating the TB from world. Now some actionable ideas for TB control. When we talk about, so every day close to 3,500 people worldwide, this TB is so dangerous that close to 3,500 people worldwide lose their lives to tuberculosis, and around 30,000 people become infected with TB, that is tuberculosis bacilli, according to World Health Organization. India alone accounts for close to 27% of the global cases. So suppose say 30,000, so out of that 27% will come from India itself. World TB Day, as I told you, commemorates the Dr. Robert Koch discovery of mycobacterium. India remains a TB hotspot. The TB control program in India has undergone several changes since its inception in 1962. So in India started a program against TB in 1962. It incorporated evidence from various domains of public health and health systems, including pharmacology, microbiology. So when we talk about TB is in various avatars. When we talk about TB, it is in drug resistant form, that is called DRTB. It is in the totally drug resistant form, that is called TDRTB. Then it is in the pulmonary form, that is called PTB. Then it is non-pulmonary TB. So these are the different types of TB. We are in an era of hope where people or public health discourse has gained importance and technology has narrowed the gaps. The COVID-19 pandemic, despite its disruptive and uncertain nature, has brought to the fore preventive aspects of the public health. Corona crisis actually showed us the way that yes, if there is some elimination of a disease has to happen, prevention is also one of the best way. Because in Corona, we were only taught that we need to take care of the prevention first. So there are certain actionable points which you can write also, and you can become informative when you are dealing with TB or any question appear in the exam regarding suggesting that India is regarded as one of the TB capital of the world, and what kind of actions should be taken so that TB can be eliminated from our country. So when we see it, first is early detection. We need to make sure that there is an early detection of the TB. Symptoms are often ignored and mistakes are mistaken for other common ailments. Compulsory screening for family and contacts of each index case is essential. So first is early detection. Second is the precise treatment categorization. We know that TB has multiple forms like non-pulmonary, pulmonary TB, etc. So we need to have a precise treatment categorization. With increased TB, it is imperative to know the resistance status for a particular person. Third is regarding the treatment adherence and follow-up. Unlike other bacterial diseases, TB requires a long period of sustained treatment. This sustained treatment is sometimes actually broken because of maybe a change of residence issue, or movement across states, or even the affordability of medicines. So the TB control program has a built-in follow system. Compliance to complete treatment is not 100%, and we need to make sure that treatment adherence and follow-up happens. Fourth is the zero mortality. Mitigating mortality due to TB is necessary. So these are four of the solutions. When we talk about the fifth one, then this is about the controlling the drug resistance. Drug resistance in TB remains a man-made phenomena. Unregulated use of antibiotics and non-compliance with treatment regimes lead to selective evolutionary pressure on the bacillus. In turn, that mutates, and that's why it creates a drug resistant system. So we need to also come over the drug resistance problem. Sixth is about accessing the extent of drug resistant TB. As we know that rifamycin resistant TB and multi-drug resistant TB, this is resistance to both rifamycin and isoniazid, collectively referred to as the MDR or RRTB. This helps in better plan and design of the control program. Then comes seventh point. So why I am suggesting, because whenever you're writing a question on the TB, you can write these functional agendas there. Availability of appropriate medicines. Assured medical supply is mandated under the TB control program in India, and as you know, TB control program in India started since 1962 and currently it has been going on because close to 30% of world's cases for TB comes from India itself. So availability of appropriate medicines is necessary. Then we talk about the integration of intra-systems. So integration into large health systems by strengthening referral networks within and between different levels of public health systems is vital to ensure no symptomatic cases are lost. Ninth is the dynamic notification system. A robust notification system will ease the burden of healthcare personnel. Then comes the Nikshay. Nikshay means NI means and, Kshay means TB, is a web-enabled patient management system for TB control under the National Tuberculosis Elimination Program. India runs a National Tuberculosis Elimination Program, and under that there is Nikshay. Ni means and Kshay. Shay, matlab TB in Hindi is called Kshay Rog. So Nikshay. It requires improvement to capture real-time data. So there is a need under the National Tuberculosis Environment Program under Nikshay that we need to improve that capturing real-time data between sectors, practitioners, time and locations should be also made available. The 10th one is considering population mobility and migration. Often the productive aspects of life are overlooked when discussing disease and healthcare seeking. So when we look about TB, these kind of answers you can write there, that these are the things which we need to take care so that TB gets eliminated from India. So you can write the questions, answers like that, because the questions can appear in this form that India is a TB capital of the world. What kind of suggestions you would give? Yeah, what kind of programs the government of India is running? Where are the shortcomings? What is the Nikshay and other national tuberculosis elimination program is succeeding and where it is failing? So these kind of questions can be asked. Even few of the topics also you can write that we need to make sure that TB is seen from the person-centric solutions, because when we see there are stigmas attached with a particular disease and especially with TB, so these social stigmas have to be also worked upon. Social stigma require a sort of solution. Why? Because social stigma, if they are attached, then they not only affect the economic potential but also the mental construct of a person who is facing TB, because he cannot tell people in public that okay, he is suffering from TB. The moment he does not do that, TB virus actually infect other persons. So that is also, we need to make sure that the TB control in India is made people or person centric. So what is the core of it? So the core of this shift lies in the fundamental recognition in needs and interests of the patients and communities must be prioritized within the care paradigm and healthcare paradigm. This principle that is echoed by the survivors of tuberculosis, communities, health experts and policy makers. Our greatest gap has been in understanding the lived experience. When a person gets infected with the TB, then he is against the world which sees that infected person as a stigma. So we need not to look him from the eyes of a kind of non-care, etc. But we need to make sure that this changes, and emergence of the stronger TB survivor advocates also work to put the needs of affected communities on the table. So we need to make sure that all the social, economic and other issues of the people are well taken care of. So care needs to be more human. Mental health support and gender responsive care also become increasingly important. Efforts are also needed to strengthen community based TB care models that empower frontline workers to deliver comprehensive care. By supporting frontline TB workers, strengthening supply chains and procurement mechanisms, decentralizing TB services, and empowering local communities, India can reduce this particular stigma. While TB can affect people of any class, religion, ethnicity, and socio-economic status, it disproportionately affects the most marginalized or who is the poor. Marginalized also and vulnerable section of the society, especially genders also, women gender is also affected in a big way. So whenever we're talking about making TB control in India person-centric solutions, we need to make sure that the socio-economic determinants of TB require a multi-sectoral approach, poverty alleviation, improvement in the nutritional status, well-ventilated housing, and better air quality will all contribute towards reducing the TB. So these are the steps that India can further take to control TB. Now comes another topic, and that is Pakistan mulling revival of trade ties with India. You must have seen that after the Pulwama attack, India hit back by air strikes in Pakistan. That time, certain trade related measures were taken by both Pakistan and India. Pakistan also retaliated that time, and in 2019, both India and Pakistan had taken trade measures that were against each other. India removed the most favored nation. That was most favored nation, as you know, is provided to those countries which are part of the WTO. So most favored nation status India removed or took away from Pakistan. Even after India's, when we removed the Article 70 from statutes, Pakistan had suspended direct trade ties with India amidst a number of diplomatic measures. So trade among India and Pakistan is not direct, but it is sort of indirect, because we see that still the commodities from India are supplied to Pakistan in an indirect manner. They travel to Singapore or Southeast Asian countries first, and from there they travel to Pakistan. But by this way, Pakistan actually faces a lot of issue, because once India transfers it to the Southeast Asian countries, then there are other taxes imposed. Those taxes and freight charges, etc., make these kind of goods very higher in comparison when direct trade happens. So when the trade by indirect trade or goods by indirect trade reaches to Pakistan, then they become very costly. And Pakistan industry has been desiring to restart trade negotiations with India, because these people are, everyone would want that the supply of raw material for them or any kind of items for the public consumption should be cheaper rather than being costly, and costly by all those measures which are in the hand of people to sort out. This move by Pakistan, or this talk by Pakistan's foreign minister, newly appointed foreign minister Mohammad Ishaq Dar, is raising a few of the appreciation from Indian community, especially those from the neighboring state of Punjab, where Amritsar trade communities are saying that if India actually India takes away the ban on Pakistan's trade, then it can be beneficial for our local products, because those products can then travel to Pakistan and we get also empowered. So the Amritsar or a neighboring state of Pakistan, Punjab, India's Punjab, are making a beeline effort for the government, and the requesting government to allow trade ties with Pakistan. But Ministry of External Affairs in India, headed by S. Jaishankar, our stand has been that till the time Pakistan drops off its terrorism situation, India will not talk to them. No trade will be allowed between India and Pakistan. This is to make sure that the state apparatus or state support that Pakistan provides to terrorist groups should stop. Because for India, securing its internal borders or borders, internationalization borders, internal borders, etc., is important rather than trade first. Because when the trade was happening between India and Pakistan, it was very minuscule, sometime even $2 billion. So $2 billion for a country GDP which is size of the 3.7, $3.8 trillion is not a major thing. But internal security is a very, very major issue, not only for people's security, but also politically, it's a hot potato. That's why India's stand has been that till the time Pakistan relaxes its stand and stops providing support to a terrorist network, India will never allow the trade relaxation between them. In another news of foreign affairs, Myanmar group is asking Manipur government not to deport refugees. And why? Because of there is a war-torn country. Unless they choose to return, they are requesting to Biren Singh government. Because Biren Singh government began the process of sending back 77 refugees from Myanmar by deporting 8 of them on March 8. The Burma Refugee Committee said that they feared that they would be handed over to the military junta. And you know that it is right now Myanmar is being governed by military junta rather than by the democratically elected government. The organization said that Myanmar imposed the People's Military Service law on February 10. Myanmar imposed a military service law on February 10. And they say that we are extremely worried because of it that handing over these refugees to Myanmar nationals will actually prompt junta that military regime can use them as human shields on the battlefield. That's why there is a request by Myanmar group to stop deporting refugees to Myanmar. Now comes the third point, and that is WTO's existential crisis. We know that WTO is a mechanism which was created in 1995 to cater to the global economic good. Global economy is good. And number two, to the rising phase of globalization. When we talk about the geopolitical situation that time, the Cold War had just ended and Soviet Union broke into multiple channels or multiple nations. So the capitalist system actually won over the countries. Capitalist system was the one where the capitalist mode of governments or capital market driven system of the economy won the appreciation. Every country wanted to become capitalist that time. Even China, people in the West were advocating that if China can be made part of WTO and some relaxation to China can also be given, then maybe that China will open up its economy more. And because of the more opening of the economy, the political structure there will move from autocracy or autocracy to a sort of democracy. So WTO was formed that time. And as you know, WTO has lot many different mechanisms like most favored nation group, like that there are trade ties between not bilaterally but multilaterally. There are the main purpose of WTO is also to eliminate subsidies that distort the the market prices of a particular product in a guest country. So subsidies also WTO it takes effect. And even there is a dispute settlement mechanism in WTO which gets activated when there is any country which does not respect the WTO's mandate. When countries actually impose trade barriers, then it is the dispute settlement mechanism that makes sure that the countries anti-trade measures are then relaxed and they are removed so that the trade facilitation can happen. This dispute settlement mechanism is one of the big way why WTO system is being appreciated. But for last couple of years, this dispute settlement mechanism is under some cloud because of the reluctance of the United States to appoint new members. When we talk about it, the new members in the United States, new members of the dispute settlement mechanism, they are not being added as of now. So this is a trouble. Whenever we want to talk about the WTO's existential crisis, one issue it also facing is the public stock holding. What is public stock holding? Public stock holding is a situation where WTO rule provide that this price support, just like whatever the subsidies that are provided by a host country to make the products of the agriculture cheaper, just like a minimum support price that India provides. The WTO member countries could not agree on how to solve several issues starting at the international community, and that is the most reason behind existential crisis that WTO is facing. First is whether countries have the right to purchase, stockpile and distribute food to their citizens in need. So that is the thing. When we talk about it, there is a public stock holding program, and that public stock holding program is because India wants to provide food security. So food security is India is providing, or India is procuring the food grain because of India wants to provide food security to its larger population. So when we talk about it, uh, so when we talk about it, the WTO rules provide that the price support that India provides will be assessed using an average price of base price of 1986 and 88. The problem is you can provide the public support system for the stock holding, but the prices of agriculture commodity has to be like 1986 to 1988. It thus becomes challenging for countries like India to pursue PSH programs using the instrumentality of MSP. So this issue is also raising its head. The next important issue on which the ministerial failed, and you also note that there was a 13th ministerial meeting that happened recently, but in that even we faced lot many issues or lot many troubles where the countries could not come to a particular, I mean, single table. One was the food stock holding program, another was dispute settlement mechanism, third is the OCOF, overcapacity and overfishing. Overcapacity and overfishing has led to substantial depletion of the fishing stocks, and it poses a grave threat to the marine environment. India has been demanding binding rules to rein in these subsidies, with a transition period for developing countries to implement these rules, but once again the richer countries prevailed by ensuring that no rules were adopted. So there wasn't any kind of settlement or on the OCOF issue, that is overcapacity and overfishing. Dispute settlement mechanism I already talked about. India, one of those demanding the restoration of the body, must understand the US game plan that dejudicialization of the trade multilateralism. So WTO is also one of the mechanism to provide trade multilateralism. Trade multilateralism means there is a bilateralism in which two countries engage, multilateralism in the sense that all the countries will be engaging with each other, and there will not be any discrimination among these countries based on the bilateral mechanism, but it will be based on the multilateral mechanism. So this is how the WTO is facing an existential crisis. Number 4 comes about market capitalization of stocks, and what does it mean? Whenever we want to talk about that the markets are going up, there is a thing like India's also, you must have seen that India's market is on a serious high as of now. So what is this? When we talk about the market prices of particular stocks, etc., so you would be hearing a lot about the run up in the prices of small and mid cap equities. So when we talk about it, market capitalization is the total value of all shareholders have assigned to a particular firm listed on the stock exchange. It is computed by multiplying the market price of a share with outstanding shares. So as an illustration, whenever we say the market price of a suppose a particular company is about 1,40,000, it is subject to daily fluctuations. This does not mean that that particular company is most valuable stock in the country. It is the priciest. So this is the market capitalization. I would like to again tell you that market capitalization is the total value of all shareholders have assigned to a firm that is listed on the stock exchange. It is computed by multiplying the market price of a share with outstanding shares. MRF's market capitalization is stood at 46,200 crore as has been listed here. So why actually market capitalization of stocks matters? So market capitalization, while there may be many parameters for categorizing firms, market cap is most popular. And you also know that across the globe, Microsoft and Apple are the two most market cap values. For them, close to $3 trillion is the market prices of their stocks, publicly listed stocks. So number one, whenever we want to talk about the popularization of any particular how the companies are popular, so market capitalization is one of that medium. As the size of the companies become, the market assigns a higher value. That is a refer to a large cap in the market. When the size of a business is small, only a limited number of stockholders are interested in it and the value is relatively lower. That is referred to as a small cap stock. So there is a small cap stock, there is a large cap stock, there is a mega cap stock, there is a medium or small cap stocks, medium cap stocks. So mega cap are like Apple, Microsoft, Google, Meta, etc., whose prices are so high. Small cap stocks are those which have limited business value, and investors do not put more values into those stocks, but yes, they are also listed and their market capital is something. Mega caps, as I told you, are, and large caps are in between small caps and mega caps. For categorization, there is a definition from SEBI, Securities Exchange Board of India, that is applicable to mutual funds but can be taken as a proxy for the entire market. The definition counts the top 100 listed stocks as per the market cap. So there is a categorization of companies according to the market capitalization. To give a perspective, the stock ranking number 100 as on December 2023 has a market cap of 67,000 crore rupees. As per market terminology, there is another category called micro caps, firms that are small and vulnerable, which can be gauged from the relatively lower value assigned by the market. So when we talk about the market capitalization of the stocks, it helps companies not only generate funds, because whenever a company is going for, say, secondary issue of the shares or other rights issue, etc., it helps the company to generate funds that time. A company's reputation in the market also is higher because of the market capitalization being higher, because then the other investors who want to invest in that particular company feel that its foundation must be strong. And because of the market capitalization being higher, there is already a testament because of, number one, good quarterly results that the company provides, plus also the fundamentals, plus its balance sheet. Strength of the balance sheet also provide a hefty market capitalization. So when a company has so much of debt, its market capitalization can get negatively impacted, while when it is producing free cash flow and some profits, and if the dividends are also being provided to the shareholders, then its stock prices or market capitalization can increase further. So this works as a sort of reputation in the market about the company's fundamentals. So this is how the market capitalization of particular company also helps in generating funds and generating a reputational outlook for a particular company. Then comes another matter, that is questionable conduct of the governor. What is the questionable conduct? You see, governor for us is a linchpin of our democratically federal system. Why the governors? Because they work as a center's representative in states, and most of the time they have saved the federal polity as well. How long it's been a matter of state that some states wanted to break away from the country, and how the governors made sure that their bills that were passed there, they were stuck, and these kind of distortion measures or breakaway or secessionist tendencies among states were stopped. So governor is called a linchpin of the federal system. But many of the times the governor position has been also impacted because of the different party government systems in different states. And why that is so? Suppose there is a center which is ruled by a particular party called A, and there is a state which is actually governed by a particular party called B. And if these particular parties are not ideologically or not allies of each other, then there can be a situation where the governor's position center affects the administration of that. So this is one of the example where the conduct of Tamil Nadu governor R.N. Ravi has been constitutionally questionable for quite some time now. In the latest instance, his refusal to allow the reinduction of K. Pon Modi. He was a Tamil Nadu cabinet member earlier, but right now reinduction of this particular earlier cabinet member is stuck. As we know that there is no particular power with the governor except the aid and advice that the Council of Ministers works on. So Council of Minister that provide aid and advice to the governor has to do that work. And if the Council of Minister headed by Chief Minister has asked or has given the governor that K. Pon Modori, that is a member of the cabinet earlier, he should be re-inducted. But if Governor R.N. Ravi is not inducting, then it is constitutionally questionable. Following some strident criticism from the Supreme Court, Mr. Ravi administered the oath of office and secrecy to Mr. Pon Modi, whose conviction in a corruption case was recently stayed by the court. So court had to come up, and it was after that the court's verdict that Governor Ravi made that particular Pon Modi take or administer the oath of office and secrecy. Mr. Ravi had taken the legally untenable stand that it would be against constitutional morality to re-induct Mr. Ponmudi based on the stay of conviction. Governor's interpretation was that only the Supreme Court has given him stay on his conviction. So if we take the people back in the cabinet, then it will be a moral disaster or constitutional moral disaster. But when we talk about what is constitutionally permissible, we should always think that constitutionally only the governor does not have any discretionary power. He only has a discretionary power when the government at the time is in some minority or no particular government is there in the business. Or governor discretion power can also arise when Article 356 is in operation. But in normal situations, governor has to work on Council of Ministers aid and advice. And if Council of Ministers has aided and advised the governor regarding the reinduction of Pon Mudi, then he should have done so. In the governor's interpretation, the order of the two-judge bench staying the conviction recorded by the Madras High Court was only a way of interim relief, and that is meant that conviction was existence. Parliament and the state legislature restore the membership of those convicted as soon as the conviction is stayed. So this has been also a practice. So there are a lot of bills also that those are pending with the state or pending with the governor or pending with the president, and governors also use this exercise by which center tries to certain times impose its will on that particular state. So sometimes for federal structure this is also not good. Given the plurality of the litigation concerning the conduct of the governors, it is disconcerting that the center does not see any scope for remedial measures also. But we need to also take care that yes, there should be a kind of balance between what governor thinks and what kind of advice and council of minister and advice council of ministers gives to the governor, because governor in himself is a constitutional post, so the decorum of the post should not be broken. Chief ministers also cannot ride roughshod over the governor by just giving them any aid and advice that is necessary. So the Supreme Court is also, this matter has reached to the Supreme Court, but Supreme Court has time and again talked about making a balanced sort of administration, because for the administration both governor's position and CM's position are important. CM is more important because of he being a direct representative of the government, but governor also, as a governor is a linchpin, and as we know a linchpin is one which saves the federal structure from crumbling. So these were the today's topics. We will again appear with more topics. For more such videos you can like the button and subscribe the channel. Thank you.